Here are the two latest flagship models released this year by Apple and Samsung, the iPhone 16 Pro and the Samsung S24 Plus. Both belong to the high-end lineup, sitting just below the Max and Ultra versions, but with a more compact form, perfect for anyone who wants top-notch technology without compromises. Whether you're an Apple or Samsung fan, it's impossible to ignore these two, as they both offer everything you could need and even more. The rivalry between the two brands has always existed, which makes it interesting to compare their differences and see which one might be the best fit for you. Right now, I'm using the iPhone 16 Pro as my main phone, and I have to say, I really appreciate the elegance it brings, especially with the new color introduced this year, Desert Titanium, which gives it a unique look. It's compact and easy to handle, with a design that immediately catches the eye thanks to the contrast between the frame and the dark cameras. On the other hand, the Samsung S24 Plus comes across as a bit more serious and refined, especially in black. It has a slightly larger display at 6.7 inches compared to the iPhone 6.3 inches, and despite this, it feels lighter in hand. Even though the iPhone is made with titanium, which should technically be a lighter material, the Samsung still gives off a stronger impression of lightness, even with its steel frame. Between the two, I find the iPhone 16 Pro more comfortable, thanks to its rounded edges, while the S24 Plus has sharper, squarer edges that might feel a bit more edgy and less soft to the touch. But with a simple case, this difference practically disappears. Now, one main difference that immediately stands out is the screen size. As mentioned, the Plus has a 6.7-inch display, while the iPhone is at 6.3 inches. Both are surrounded by ultra-thin bezels, offering a full, immersive view that's really enjoyable. The screens on both are fantastic with vivid colors and sharp details. The difference I noticed is that the iPhone's display leans slightly warmer in tone, while the Samsung's display has a cooler tone, especially noticeable on white backgrounds. That said, both phones support 120 Hz, so they offer excellent smoothness for animations and scrolling. The significant difference lies in the peak brightness. The S24 Plus reaches up to 2500 nits, while the iPhone 16 Pro caps at 2000 nits. Although the difference isn't huge, those extra 500 nits can come in handy on bright sunny days, allowing you to read text and view images more clearly. Another key difference between the two phones is the unlocking and security system. Apple uses Face ID, which takes up a small part at the top of the screen, while Samsung has a fingerprint reader embedded directly into the display, so it doesn't affect screen visibility at all. Both systems are quick and responsive, but personally, I prefer Apple's Face ID for convenience. You just look at the screen, and it unlocks instantly. With Samsung, you need to place your finger in the right spot, and if your fingers are dirty or wet, the reading can be a bit slower. Apple has also introduced an interesting feature to make the most of the Face ID area, Dynamic Island. This area becomes interactive, enhancing the user experience with animations and handy shortcuts like music controls that pop up when you're listening to songs. It's a clever idea that makes this small screen section not only less intrusive but also practical and enjoyable to use. Beyond this, one of the main differences is in the operating system. Apple manages every aspect of the iPhone software very precisely, offering many features and apps developed in-house. This approach makes Apple's system a bit more closed compared to Samsung's, which uses Android, developed by Google and partially managed by Samsung as well. Android is a more open system, which in some ways feels more innovative and cutting edge. For example, Android has integrated AI features available since the beginning of the year that allow you to do online searches from a photo, translate text directly on the screen, and even edit images with ease. These are all functions that Apple is just now starting to roll out, but they aren't available everywhere. So, if you have the latest iPhone but live in Europe or another country not on the list, you won't yet have access to the latest Apple Intelligence features and may have to wait a few more months to use them. Despite these differences, both operating systems are very smooth and responsive. This used to be a weak spot for Android, but today the gap has narrowed significantly. Both devices are outstanding in terms of speed and performance. The iPhone 16 Pro features the brand new A-Team Pro processor with 8GB of RAM, while the Samsung S24 Plus is equipped with an Exynos processor and 12GB of RAM, unlike the Ultra version, which uses Snapdragon. In practice, both phones are extremely fast, smooth, and responsive, with no noticeable differences in power. As for the cameras, both phones offer top-notch quality, letting you take great photos in any setting. However, I'd give a slight edge to the iPhone, which I find superior in terms of image quality and detail compared to the Samsung S24 Plus. Many of you have confirmed this. While the Plus model produces nice shots, it doesn't reach the Ultra's level, and photos can sometimes appear a bit flat and artificial, especially in low light or with higher zoom. In terms of specs, the iPhone 16 Pro has a 48-megapixel wide-angle and ultra-wide-angle camera, along with a 12-megapixel optical telephoto lens up to 5x. The S24 Plus, on the other hand, has a 50-megapixel wide-angle camera, with the others remaining at 12 megapixels, and a telephoto lens with a maximum 3x optical zoom. Overall, I find the iPhone's camera quality more realistic and professional thanks to the new features introduced this year. If you want to learn more, I did a full camera review on my channel. Apple also introduced an interesting new feature, Camera Control, a dedicated button to access the cameras with a simple tap, letting you quickly navigate settings and options. This makes the iPhone especially convenient for frequent camera users, a feature the S24 Plus lacks. These may seem like small details, but they're practical and simplify daily use. Another handy feature is the Action button on the iPhone 16 Pro, allowing you to create a shortcut to quickly access your most used apps. Such shortcuts aren't available on the S24 Plus, which only has the standard volume and power buttons. Lastly, I'd give the iPhone an edge in audio quality. The sound on the iPhone 16 Pro is richer and deeper, while the Samsung S24 Plus sounds less detailed and less full. In some situations, the Samsung sounds can even seem annoying, which is surprising given the overall quality of the phone. Finally, this time I'd give Samsung S24 Plus a point for battery life, as it outperforms the iPhone 16 Pro in this area. The Samsung easily lasts through a full day, even with heavy use, and manages power consumption well, especially in standby mode, where energy usage is minimal. The iPhone 16 Pro also offers good battery life, but likely due to its smaller battery compared to the Plus, it can handle a full day of intensive use, but doesn't quite go beyond that. So, we're looking at two excellent phones, but with differences that could impact your purchase decision, such as price. The iPhone 16 Pro has just been released, so it's at full launch price with a starting memory of 128GB. On the other hand, the Samsung S24 Plus can be found new at a lower price than its launch price, often with discounts or in refurbished condition, and it comes with a starting memory of 256GB, a significant detail. These are my thoughts. Now let me know which one you think is better. And that's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a free like and subscribe to the channel for future tech updates. See you next time.